Hello, thanks for joining us for today's edition of the Live and Invest Overseas podcast. I'm Kat Kalashian, and here today we're talking about buying secondhand in Panama, be it furniture, clothing, electronics, whatever it is. There's a great and increasingly thriving secondhand market all over the world, thanks to especially younger folks getting more interested in reusing and being more sustainable with their goods and their shopping. So the love of thrift shopping has really, spread around the globe for the past few years, and it is a new market in Panama, which means it can be a little bit more unregulated, and maybe there are a few more do's and don'ts that you want to be aware of to make sure that you don't get scammed as you're getting into it. But rest assured, there are plenty of great options. I did live in Panama for 7 years myself, and there did no shortage of secondhand buying and selling. Especially when I moved, I sold my entire household online pretty much. So let's get into it. There, as I said, are not many rules and regulations, which means there are no real protections in place for people buying from secondhand stores or online marketplaces. And aside from just being actually scammed, another big consideration for North Americans doing this in Panama would be getting gringo priced. So when this is what we call it when, something has one price for a local and one price for a foreigner, whether they're a tourist or a resident or whatever. And in Panama and throughout Latin America, that is often referred to as being gringo priced. So you want to avoid that as much as possible. And the best way to know, to get around all of these, little hurdles are to know the right places to go. So following are some of the best places to do secondhand buying and selling, both online and in person in Panama. Because I haven't lived there for a few years, I've asked for the help of one of our in-office editors, Geraldine Gonzalez, who has written up a little article for us about her personal experiences buying and selling. She recently moved back to Panama herself. So she has done some buying and mostly buying recently for herself. And so she's shared some of her most recent experiences. And she's contributed to a lot of the insights that I'm about to talk about today. So number one, the best site, the biggest site you're going to need to be aware of in this niche is Encuentra24. Encuentra24. So you'll hear this pretty frequently. This is the most popular website out there for sure, even among people looking for rentals, but be they short-term or long-term. So definitely the most popular secondhand site in Panama. Whatever you're looking for, you will certainly find it here. It's an excellent venue for commerce. The site is easy to use. It's well navigatable, and whether you're a buyer or a seller, it's an easy to use interface. One thing though is that you'll have to be fluent enough in Spanish to get through it. Well, of course, you can put the website into English and have the website itself appear in English. All of the ads are of course going to be in Spanish, or at least I would say most of the ads will be in Spanish. So either, bring your dictionary with you, have Google Translate up in the next tab, or, if you have somebody, a friend or someone local that speaks Spanish, ask for their help maybe in dealing with some of these exchanges back and forth. Also, if you are selling, you want to look up the terms that are most used for the items that you're selling. So Google Translate, for example, might not always give you the most accurate or the most used or the most common thing that is said on the ground in fact. So you might want to ask around, especially if you're posting a title. You don't want it to have a title that nobody is going to click on. You want it to be something that will be recognizable and that other buyers are, within the key terms that the buyers are searching for. General advice about any of these online marketplaces, but goes just as much for Encuentra24 as any other. Never meet a seller or a buyer in a sketchy place or by yourself. Always have somebody with you. Always meet someplace public. Generally, it's a little bit more iffy to go to someone's apartment. And to be fair, that if you're buying furniture, for example, you're not going to have much way around that. If you want to see the furniture, you're going to have to go to that person's house. A big screen TV, you'll have to go to the person's house. But bring someone with you, obviously. and you shouldn't have any or major concerns. Electronics are a little bit more iffy, especially on Encuentro 24. You don't want to buy cell phones. Many people have bad experiences with that. You also only ever want to take payment in cash. There are many ways to be scammed. For example, if you were to accept a check deposit, if the check bounces, then you'll end up paying, you'll end up not only not being paid for the good, but you'll also end up paying a fee to your bank for costing them the administrative hassle. So this actually did happen to Geraldine's sister, I believe, who accepted a check and then never saw the money and then had to deal with her bank. And there is actually a popular banking app by Banco General called Yapi, but even that is not secure in this context for, you don't want to take somebody's word that they're going to just yappy you the money. You only ever want to accept cash. Another really great place to go are Facebook's expat groups. And this is especially a great option if you're not fluent in Spanish yet, if you're not comfortable dealing with people on the phone in Spanish, etc. Most of the people here are going to be posting in English. They're mostly going to be expats, like-minded folks just like you, trying to get a good bargain or trying to offload some unused stuff. So products and services of all kinds are going to be available here, just like on any of the other sites. And it's incredibly easy to use, especially if you do have any familiarity with Facebook. Posting an item is just like posting a message on your own wall. In fact, you'll be posting it on the group's wall, but that's all there is to it. You just post a photo and a short description and it's done. And of course, then the beauty of that is that you're mostly going to be able to deal in English. However, if your Spanish is a little bit better and you're comfortable with the challenge of speaking on the phone or using text messages to deal with somebody, Facebook Marketplace is a level up from the Facebook expat groups. And Facebook Marketplace, I will say, is what I mostly used when I was moving from Panama in 2018. I probably spent about 6 months downsizing and selling everything mostly through Facebook Marketplace, sometimes through friends or colleagues, but mostly through Marketplace. And I was able to sell things very easily, usually very quickly. I will say that the one very annoying thing that I had not been aware of prior to this experience was that the term negotiation doesn't seem to translate to what I know of as negotiation. So, for example, I might put on my listing, $300 price negotiable. And about 9 out of 10 of the responses that I would get to that ad would be, what is your lowest price? And I would say, well, my lowest price is $300. That's why I put it on the listing. And they would write back to say, but you said it's negotiable. So what's your lowest? To me, that's not negotiating. So I just stopped replying to anybody who gave me that response. I think people who have lived in other countries, definitely other foreigners, are a little bit more aware of the give and the take, the back and the forth of a typical negotiation process. But beware that negotiation is not what you might expect it to be. And I actually had a few people getting angry at me saying, well, you said it was negotiable, so tell me the lowest price. And I didn't even know how to respond. That's not how this works. Come on, you got to give me something. I'm not going to just say, sure, have it for free. So again, you will need to deal in Spanish. All of these sales that I made were to Spanish, well, mostly to Spanish speakers. Also, don't discount businesses. A lot of for example, I was able to sell all of my plants. I had a very bucolic balcony in Panama with dozens of plants of all sizes. And I think it was a new bar, maybe a hotel restaurant, something new was opening up, and they were trying to make their terrace area a little bit more lush. And so they offered me a price for all of my plants, and I was able to get rid of all of them in one go, which was certainly preferable for me than listing each plant individually. So I just took a picture of my balcony, for example, and I said, who wants plants? And asked what a fair price seemed like for all those plants, because many of them were mature. So again, you'll find almost anything on Facebook Marketplace. There's really no limit to what you'll find. You can do a lot of price comparison because it is such an active marketplace. You'll find many people selling the same things, and there will be a kind of going rate, a cheaper rate for people that want to get rid of it quicker. And also you'll see many items that are listed for free. Don't necessarily avoid them, because although the term, the price free is is not actually true. They do want a price. You'll have to look in the description for the price or a WhatsApp number to ask what the price is. So it's a little bit annoying, again, like that negotiation thing. I don't understand. I guess it's just a bait and switch. They want to get you in the door by telling you it's free. So it's not going to be free. Don't get your hopes up, but also don't discount it entirely thinking that it's a scam or that it's not worth your time. If it's the item that you've been looking for, at least. So it can be hit or miss on Facebook Marketplace. Geraldine, another one of her anecdotes was that a friend of hers found, I think it was a PlayStation he wanted to buy off of Marketplace. The lady assured him that it would work. Of course, he gets it and it doesn't work. So then he's stuck with this piece of machinery that doesn't work. And what else are you going to do? He paid to have it repaired. And so now it is a working PlayStation, but he had to go out of his way, deal with the repairs, deal with the payment of that. When he tried to follow up with the lady to say, in fact, this does not work, she had disappeared. So, whatever, burner phone or however people do these things, she was gone and the contact number was no longer valid. So when buying electronics, again, it's a little bit more risky. I also, when we moved, I also sold TVs, probably an Xbox, a PlayStation, maybe a Wii. I don't know. I sold several of our entertainment consoles. And that was always something that I was prepared for, was to have somebody come over and actually use the thing hooked up to the TV to turn the TV on if it was just the TV. But if it was a gaming system, to actually have it turn on and play a game, to show that the CDs still go in and out of the slot, etc. Failing doing the test in person, you want to do a live video call with the person and have them show you on the video of them using the item in real time to prove to you that it does in fact work as it should. Geraldine also, though, on the brighter side of things, she personally found her current apartment through Facebook Marketplace. She said it took her about a week and she was able to find the right place at an under market value very near to work. So she's able to walk to work. It has free parking, 24-hour security, and a pool, which she didn't expect for her price range. So great bargains can be had. You might have to do a little bit of legwork if you're looking for something like an apartment. You're going to want to spend a little bit more time than just a quick browse. Muebles Déjà Vu. This was one that either didn't exist when I lived there or I was unaware to my detriment. I was unaware and ignorant of Muebles Déjà Vu, which Geraldine discovered when she was shopping for a couch for her mother. And it's the only store in Panama really where you can sell used furniture. It has to be in good condition, and also buy new and refurbished furniture. So instead of going to individual sellers or buyers, you can go to Muebles Déjà Vu to either sell your good condition furniture or to buy other people's good condition furniture. It's located on Via España, so right there in the heart of Panama City. If you're not living in Panama City, not going to be as much use to you, obviously. They will also deliver, which is great if you don't have your own means of transporting your furniture to or from. And really, this, as she described it, as a playground for decent priced home furnishings and other items for the home. She said she found the ideal couch at a way better price than anything she was able to find elsewhere. And if she had been aware of Muebles Déjà Vu before going to every single furniture and department store in Panama City, she would have saved herself a lot of time and gas money. So definitely take a look. If you're living in Panama City, it is worth your time. I wish I had known about it. Craigslist. I'm just giving this as kind of a throw out because many North Americans are quite used to Craigslist, and it can be still a popular site in some parts of North America, but few people use it in Panama. It's really not a popular tool in Panama. You will sell or buy faster, much faster on any of the other sites we've mentioned already. But you might have some luck. The other thing to keep in mind, though, is that even if you do go to Craigslist Panama, you are most likely going to see a lot of ads by people selling things from Costa Rica. So not as useful unless you're living right across the border from Costa Rica, I guess. The site is just old, dated, not very user-friendly these days. So while you might give it a look if you're really, stuck on Craigslist. You might give it a look, but you're really not going to have the best luck on Craigslist in Panama. Finding antiques in Panama can be very difficult. There are very few antique stores in Panama as a country, and those that do exist are going to be in Panama City, maybe one up in Colón. But the really great store that we've learned more about recently is Portal de Épocas. It's on Avenida Federico Boyd. I actually was aware of it, and I had been there a few times when I lived there. It's definitely one of the best in the city, and they even have a website, so you can browse on the website and also in the store. The prices can be a little bit more expensive. You know, there's a premium put on antiques for people who want them because they are a rarity in this part of the world. So it will be a little bit more expensive, and keep in mind that the store is closed on Sundays and Mondays. So if you're gonna plan a shopping trip, try and go for a Saturday. Last one that I'm gonna mention is Compre o Alquile, which is mostly used for real estate, and listings here do come at a fee between 35 and I think 135, between 30 and 135 US dollars per listing, depending on what the listing is, how you want to, boost it on the site, if you want to add photos, etc. It is less popular than Encuentra 24, but it is more secure because every one of those ads had to be paid. So you know that every single one of those ads is a legitimate real estate listing. The site is also a little bit easier to navigate. And once again, all of the listings here are going to be in Spanish, or at least the majority of them will be. So again, either have somebody help you or make sure that you've got a really good translating service, whether that's Google or, your friend or your favorite dictionary or whatever. So there you have it. Some of the best ways to do thrift shopping and secondhand buying and selling in Panama. Happy hunting on your thrifting.